Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Black Friday cards that have been given on eFootball today. I've already done a review of Player of the Week. That video is live on the channel if you want to check it out, and there will be another video where I review the Barcelona pack, as well as the 2 ex-Barca players we've been given for free, and also the Point Store Hector Fort card. So watch out for those videos coming up. There might be a live stream soon as well. For this one, as always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, click the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So we've got 4 from each of Barcelona and AC Milan. Barcelona, we've got Ansu Fati, Marc Casadó, Pau Víctor, García. And then from AC Milan, we've got Youssouf Fofana, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, and Pulišić. Let's start with Pulišić, and we'll jump over to eFootball Hub, see how well these players train up. So, Pulišić is a goalkeeper, apparently. So they've made him an attacking goalkeeper. He still has his regular position. They've done it with both the goalkeepers in these 2 packs. All the other cards just got 1 position. With the goalies, you've got goalkeeper and their main position. So Pulišić is a goalie now, but he still can't play as a left winger, which is quite fortunate, really, because as a goalkeeper, even when you max him out and get fully boosted, he is awful. So obviously he's got some fantastic technicals for a keeper. Amazing jumping, so he's better than any Player of the Week goalkeeper. But yeah. Catching and parrying, decent. Reflex is good, but 71 goalkeeper awareness, 74 goalkeeper reach. You're not going to put this guy in goal, are you? Let's be honest. If you're having a bit of fun, maybe he's playing golden goal, whatever it is, sure, it could be a fun card to stick in just for a laugh. But if you want a goalkeeper who's actually going to seriously be able to stop shots, this guy is not it. I get the general idea with these cards. They're just a bit of fun, but as a goalkeeper, this card is nothing more than that. I mean, you look down the skills, yeah, they're giving a low punt, but yeah. Like I say, some good attributes. They're giving a low punt, great jumping, but with the awareness 71, reach 74, not happening. You can't even reach only to make him better. I mean, you take all the points away from wherever you can, and where do you end up? You got a 7 point spare there. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of difference, does it? So yeah, as a goalie, absolute waste of time. But as I mentioned initially, you can still play him as a left winger. So we'll just go to the auto allocation, see what eFootball Hub tells us. As a left winger, he is actually still decent. So it's a decent left winger if you want to use him in that position. Lacking a bit of end product. He's one of these wingers. He's got pace. He's got a good, he's on the ball with the dribbling and stuff, but with the passing and shooting, he's a bit lacking. Could you do much with him? Not a great deal. I could maybe nick a couple from dribbling there. I'll be most inclined to put them straight on speed, to be honest, rather than his end product. And yeah, I think I'd most likely just leave him like that. It's not as good as some previous versions of Pulišić that we've had, unsurprisingly, but he's usable. So if you don't have a good version of Pulišić, and when you get this card, because we're all getting these cards for free, just have to do some basic objectives and stuff. Yeah, he could do a job for you left wing. The awareness is good on the ball. He's pretty neat. The passing and finishing are the issue. You have to be careful not to ask too much of him. But he's got good pace, great jumping for a winger, reasonable kicking power and balance likewise, and stamina. So yeah, he's got some strengths there as a left winger. You can certainly find him usable. And looking down the skills, yes, they've shoehorned the goalkeeper skill in there, but we've still got most of the skills that you need in a winger, and he doesn't always have all of these skills, to be fair. So double touch, soul control, long range curler, very important if you play him on the left wing as an inverted winger. Heel trick's a nice one. Through passing, penalties, gamesmanship, captaincy. Didn't know captaincy. I guess I've added that for this card as well. Super sub as well, though. So you've got a quick super sub you can put on the wing. It cause some problems for you. It's not as good as other versions of Pulišić that we've had, but does have some decent skills. And he does have some qualities here. So if you want a winger who's got some pace, it's good on the ball, much better jumping than Pulišić normally has. Yeah, just be careful with the end product, but it could be a very usable card for you, to be fair. So yeah, as a goalkeeper, no. As a left winger, yeah, maybe. And we go from a maybe to an absolutely not. So Pulišić was terrible in goal, and Tomori is terrible on his new position of left wing. Maxed out, fully boosted. Yeah, some attributes are decent there, but you're not going to get much use out of this guy, let's be honest. Is he quick? Not particularly. Is he good on the ball? The ball control's pretty good, but he's not great at dribbling. Can he pass? Not really. Yeah, he's got the awareness and the finishing. Balance is terrible, though. There are a few decent attributes there, but you're not looking for a few decent attributes on a card, are you? I mean, if you're very new to the game, you've got no left wingers, sure, he could maybe do a job for you, but anyone who's been playing the game for more than a week, you're not going to find this guy. He's going to be getting to a team ahead of any of your left wingers, let's be honest. If we look down the skills, they've given him double touch, flip flop, soul control, so he's got the ball roll double touch. Fantastic. So you've got a 6'1" left winger with terrible balance, not a lot of pace, and he can't dribble particularly well, but he's got the ball roll double touch. Excellent. What else we got? Soul control. What we got? Heading, long range curler, first time shot, pinpoint crossing. Two of his usual skills. Then man marking, interception. Fantastic skills to have on a left wing forward. But yeah, in all seriousness, he does have some qualities, but he's just not going to do the job for you as a left winger, is he? He's got good searching skills. He can control the ball. He's got the awareness and finishing, but you're not going to have much joy with this guy trying to dribble past defenders without the attributes being better, without him having more pace, and especially without him having more balance. Can't pass the ball. A few strengths maybe, some decent skills, sure, but too many weaknesses, and he's just not going to be great as a left winger. And in terms of whether you can position train him, which we will look at that for these cards, obviously left midfield is the same deal as left wing. It's not going to make much difference. You could make him a centre forward or an SS, but I'm just going to go straight to the auto allocation, and you'll see here you can't make him a particularly good centre forward either, so it's not worth putting the position trains on to make him a centre forward. Awareness and finishing, not too bad. On the ball, not too bad. Passing, not too bad. We'll be playing without an active playing style, so the lack of pace maybe not such an issue, but honestly, I mean, he'd be better suited to centre forward than left wing, but you're going to waste position trainers doing it? Not for me. So yeah, for me, some qualities with this card, but on the whole, it's really not a great one. I don't see much use for anyone with this card, really. And next is Tammy Abraham, the Destroyer centre-back. So, is Tammy Abraham a usable centre-back? Maxed out, fully boosted? Again, he's got some qualities. The only real weaknesses here, defensive awareness sucks. Tackling sucks. Tackling is very important on the centre-back. So, is he usable? For me, no. But he does have some qualities there. Again, if you're new to the game and you really, really need a new centre-back, he could do a job for you, but you've got to be desperate with the tackling being that bad and the awareness as well. So I'll give him his dues. The engagement and the aggression are good, both over 90. Technically he's alright on the ball, although the passing is pretty terrible even for a centre-back. Speed, decent for a centre-back. Jumping's decent enough. He's about 6'3". Does he have aerial superiority? He does. He doesn't have heading though. But at least with aerial superiority, 95 physical contact, which is outstanding. That's really good on a centre-back. And 85 jumping, he should be pretty good in the air. So there are some qualities there on this guy. Interesting with the attacking when it's at 81. I just wonder, even as a centre-back, with attacking when it's that high, is he going to be a bit too inclined to step forward when you start trying to play the ball forward? Is he going to move forward out of his position as a destroyer? I think he probably is. I think you're going to find this guy would drift out of his position a bit too much, both when you're on the ball and off the ball. But yeah, like I say, he's not brilliant. Can you train him differently to make him any more usable as a centre-back? I mean, it's those two defensive attributes you need to get higher. They're only 80. But you've already got 15 on defending. The next increase is going to cost you 4 points, and the next 4 after that will cost you 5 points. Do we have the points to spare? Not really. So, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go down. How far could you go on area? You could go down to 4. We'll leave the heading at the 80 mark. I'm not going to drop into the 70s on heading, especially without the heading skill. So that's freed up 8 points. You could, to be honest, lose all his pace. And he's still quick enough as a centre-back, although that stamina is very worrying. He's going to get tired very quick. Now I've got 16 points, and that gives us how many more? 3 more. 16 points. Let's just go 3 higher on defending. 2 left. I'll stick him straight back on the lower body, give him a bit of stamina back and a bit of speed back over 80 again. He could do a job, to be fair. If we look down the skills they've given him, so soul control, chip shot, acrobatic finishing, first time shot. Some of his attacking skills still there. They don't really apply as a centre-back, unless you're sending him forward for set pieces, of course. But defensively, man marking, interception, fighting spirit, aerial superiority, blocker, sliding tackle. He's got a decent selection of skills, to be fair, for a centre-back. I think acrobatic clearance is probably the one he's missing mainly, to a lesser extent heading. But yeah, he's got most of the main skills for a centre-back, so yeah, I don't know. This guy's not useless. I'm going to say that he's not useless. Obviously, all these cards are a bit weird. They're a bit different. They're all going to have a few things about them that make them a little bit, unsuitable for their positions. But trained this way, yes, the awareness is pretty bad. The tackling is pretty bad, but you can at least get it up a few to 83 in both of those. The engagement and aggression are fantastic. The pace is decent for a centre-back. We've taken a bit away from his jumping, but it's still decent enough, I think, with aerial superiority and the height he's got at 6'3". You see down here, it tells you the jumping height, 274. It's not brilliant, but it's decent enough. He'll be good enough in the air. Still physically strong, even after taking a few points away. It's really just those 2 defensive attributes, still a bit low, and the stamina's pretty bad. So, is it a usable card? Yeah, it's usable. As a destroyer centre-back, the attributes he's got, the skills he's got, he could actually do a job, but I just think with the awareness being that low, the tackling being that low, most of us would probably be a bit too scared to put him in the team. But I think out of the cards we've looked at so far, yeah, he could do a job. I think the Tomori card was pretty bad. Pulišić obviously is a goalie, is terrible, but you could use Pulišić as a left winger. And this Tammy Abraham card as a centre back, you could possibly use him as a centre back. You could get away with him. I'm not going to say he's a good card because he's not, but he is just about borderline usable. But you've got to be pretty desperate with that tackling, especially and the awareness. And the last card from AC Milan is centre forward, Fox in the box, Youssouf Fofana. Right. So let's just max him straight out. Fully boosted. Is he any good as a striker? He could be worse, to be fair. I mean, the attacking awareness is outstanding at 98. That really is fantastic. On the ball, he's not bad for centre forward. He's not brilliant though either. Passing is actually decent for centre forward. The finishing 86, you'd want that to be a bit higher. It could be worse though. I mean, we've seen one or two strikers in Player of the Week this morning with finishing worse than that. Heading could be worse. Defensively fantastic for a centre forward. Not sure how relevant that is. I mean, it's a bonus if you lose the ball in attack and you want to win it back for sure. Pace, not the quickest. And looking down here, the other kind of athletic attributes, he's kind of okay-ish and decent stamina. So yeah, he's kind of okay, to be honest. He doesn't look too bad. He's obviously not a great card. I mean, my first thought is with so much on the attacking awareness and he just needs a few more on finishing, can we kind of level that out a bit? You could take all the dexterity off. Get the finishing up to 90. And we've got 6 points left. Hang on. Can we make him half decent? Maybe. If you don't mind the fact he's not the quickest. I mean, we've taken a bunch away from his acceleration and his balance, which is a bit of a shame. But awareness and finishing both at 90. He's a bit more comfortable on the ball now. The passing's still decent. In the air, we've really got the jumping and physical contact at 80. What's he got down here? Has he got aerial superiority? He's not. That's a shame. He's got heading though. He's got acrobatic finishing as well. Long range curler and long range shooting. First time shot. One touch pass, weighted pass, low lofted pass. He's got some decent skills there for a centre forward. I think, again, I mean, I think this card's probably a bit better than the Tammy Abraham centre back card. Usable? Yeah, I think so. Whichever way you train him though, he's going to be a little bit weak in some area. We've lost a little bit of the acceleration and the balance, which is a bit of a shame there. Sure, the attacking awareness is still high enough at 90, but in order to get the finishing up and to get a few points elsewhere, we did have to take a bit away from the dexterity. If you're not too bothered about how good he is on the ball, you could just take a couple back off there, stick it back on dexterity, get 4 in his dexterity. Maybe that's a bit better, to be honest, if you're just a bit careful when you get on the ball with him, because he's not going to be too comfortable, but we've got that acceleration back into the 70s, balance up to 76. Maybe that's a better build, but he'll be kind of okay in the air. About 6 foot tall. He's got heading. He's got a bit of a jump on him. Got the awareness and the finishing. It's not a great card, let's be honest. I mean, it's turning up there. The 95 is what it's estimating for his rating as a centre forward. I think this is a just about borderline usable card. I don't think it's a great one. Again, like with all these cards, we've all got, I think, better options in all these positions than these cards are going to offer us. But I think this guy could do a job as a centre forward, with the awareness and finishing being the most important too. As long as you don't ask too much on the ball, don't try and start dribbling past defenders, obviously. But his passing is decent. He's got a few passing skills as well. He's certainly got some shooting skills and heading and acrobatic finishing from crosses. So yeah, you could do worse than this guy. I'm not going to say he's a good card. I'm not sure any of these cards are going to be good enough for me to say that they're good and they're going to be worth using. But I think this guy could be usable if he did put him in your team. If you were desperate any week for someone to play out front, maybe he's in the Italian League Challenge, and if he's got form, I think he could do worse. I think some of his attributes are actually decent, and he could do a job for you. Obviously not a great card, but not one that I'll be releasing straight away. He's worth trying at least. So moving on to the Barcelona cards, and we have a goalkeeper from Barcelona, and it's Eric García, the defensive goalkeeper. So as with Pulišić, they've made him a goalkeeper, but he's kept his main position, which is centre-back. So let's look at him as a goalkeeper first. Max him out, fully boosted. And again, just like Pulišić, you've got a couple of fantastic ones. 97 awareness, powering 91, great. But catching 71, reflexes 79, and reach 69. So you got a 5'11" goalkeeper with 69 goalkeeper reach. Yeah, I'm going to struggle to say this is a good card. I mean, he's got great jumping at 94, but this isn't a good goalkeeper, let's be honest. I mean, can we retrain him? We might as well at least try for the sake of it. So we don't need 97 awareness. Let's go all the way down to 5 on awareness. What are we going to do here? Probably not a lot. There you go. Has that improved him much? A bit. But would I ever dream of putting him in goal? No. 5'11", reach 72, catching 75. He could be worse. I'd probably be more inclined to put this guy in goal than I would Pulišić, but it's not a good goalie, let's be honest. He's got great defensive attributes, technical attributes, and all the rest for a goalie, but you're not going to put him in goal. He's not going to do a great job for you. Maybe he's worth keeping hold of, just having a bit of fun. Like I say with Pulišić, maybe you're just playing golden goalie. You just want to, in any mode, you just want to mess around and try some fun cards out. But as a serious goalkeeper, absolutely not. But as I mentioned, he does still have centre back in his normal position. So let's go straight to the auto allocation for centre back. Can he do a job there? Defensively, pretty good. Pace is all right. Jumping decent, but there's your one weakness. It's just the one weakness really as a centre back, because everywhere else he's fine. Down the left there, you've got a bunch in the 70s, good. Only one of the defensives is lower than 90, and it's only one away at 89 on engagement. Like I say, the pace is alright, the jumping's okay, but to be fair, 5'11", he's going to need aerial superiority. He does have it though. Okay, so we've got aerial superiority. Didn't realise he had that. I'm not sure he normally has that. Got heading as well, so heading and aerial superiority. What else we got? They're giving him a bunch of goalie skills, so that's probably taken away some of his defending skills, annoyingly. So we've got low punt, high punt, penalty saver, great. But weighted passing, low lofted passing, nice ones to have on a centre back. And then what about defense? The real defensive ones? Interception, acrobatic clearance, sliding tackle. So we need man marking and blocker. Two skills we really need there, and he's physically very weak. So for me, those are two reasons why I would not want to use this guy as a centre back. Physical contact, super important on a centre back, it really is. So yeah, could you retrain him a bit? I mean, you can't really spare too many from defending, and that's where most of the points are, unfortunately, 16. I mean, if you took one away from there, I mean, that only gives you one on aerial. I wouldn't want to take another one away, because when you're at the 88 mark, going one lower means you lose two. So it goes from 88 to 86. So I'm going to leave that where it is. We'll just have one extra on aerial. Can we at least get the jumping to 90? If we take a point away from dexterity, goalkeeper one can help us out here. You can at least get his jumping to 90. So yeah, I think he's usable. He's probably more usable than that Tammy Abraham centre-back card. Defenses are okay, even though we've taken one away. It would be nice if they're all at the 90 mark, but you can't have it all. He is nice down that left column for a centre-back. The pace is okay. He's not the quickest. Certainly speed 71, but he's got a bit of acceleration about him. Jumping up to 90 there. Physical contact, we've got that up all the way up to 80. Wow. That's the weakness though. So he's lacking man marking blocker. You can remedy that by adding those two skills if you're going to use this card. But that physical contact for me really kills the card. That's the only weakness, to be fair to him though. So I'll give him his dues. Everywhere else he looks okay. He does look very usable elsewhere as a centre-back, but just that one attribute, physical contact being at 80 for me, is a big concern. So he's lacking strength, and that puts me off. But outside of that, he could certainly do a job for you. Like I say, it seems to be the thing with these cards that most of them seem to have a use where you could get some use out of them. That could be okay if you were desperate, if you're really lacking options. And like I say again, if you're new to the game, you've hardly got any cards, then he could certainly come into your team as a centre back and you could do worse. But it's only going to take you about a week of playing the game before you have one or two better centre backs than this, because just for that physical contact alone, it's, unfortunately for me, it's just not quite making the grade. But he's got qualities elsewhere, and he could be worse, that's for sure. And now on to Marc Casadó, who has gone from a midfielder to an attacking right back. Interesting. So let's max this guy out. See him fully boosted. Is this guy any good? He's actually not too bad. So pace, yeah, that's fine. Physical contact is good for a fullback. Balance, I'd like to be a bit higher. Stamina, yeah, that's fine. Defensive down the middle. The awareness is a bit on the lower side. I reckon we can probably nudge that tackling up to the 80 mark. So on the whole, defensively, he's kind of okay. And then down the left there, dribbling's pretty bad. Don't try and dribble too much with this guy. And the low pass, you're going to have to be careful with that. Don't ask too much from with his passing. But on the whole, it's not a great right back, but it could be worse. It certainly could be worse. I think this guy is usable. He's probably one of the more usable cards out of these two packs. What have they done with his skills? They've given him a pretty nice section of skills. So one touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, pinpoint crossing. You've got 4 good skills going forward for an attacking fullback. That's great. So we're off to a good start there. What about defensively? Man marking, interception, fighting spirit, aerial superiority, blocker, sliding tackle. This guy has a fantastic set of skills for a fullback. Really good set of skills. So there's a lot to be said for this guy, to be fair. And on the whole, I would say he probably looks a bit more usable than a Hector Fort card in the point store, who's an actual right back for Barcelona. I will be reviewing him when I do a separate video reviewing the Barcelona pack. So I'll have a proper look at him then. But at first glance, yeah, he looks pretty similar, and certainly he's got more skills, so you could do worse than this guy. As a right back, I think he's okay. Not great, but not bad at all. I think he's okay. As I mentioned, it'd be nice to nudge that tackling up to the 80 mark, so what can we do here? I think we can nick one from low body for sure. Leave the speed and stamina at the 90 mark. I'll stick that straight on defending. That's his defending sorted. I think we're not going to be able to get him up to 80 defensive awareness, but we've at least got to the 80 mark for the other 3. 1 point. What else can we do? It'd be nice if we get that dexterity to 90. We need 3 points for that. We've only got 1. Where are we going to take 2? I'll just nick 2 from aerial because we can afford to do that. We're still over 80 for physical contact and in the 80s for jumping. And that gives us enough to go up to 90 dexterity. So, yeah, I wouldn't do any major surgery on this guy, but we've nudged the acceleration to 90, got the tackling to 80. He's still going to have to be quite careful on the ball. But he does have the passing skills there to compensate for his low pass not being too great. He's got crossing as well, so still be careful with him, but he's okay technically. I think he's okay. Just not a great dribbler, but he's okay on the whole technically. Defensively, I think he's okay for sure. Pace, yeah, that's good enough for a fullback. I think everything's just about fine, really. Just 1 or 2 I'd like to be a bit higher, but for a free card, this one's all right. You know, there's 1 or 2 cards here. Obviously, the goalies especially, where it's just a kind of a bit of fun playing players in a very unusual position. This guy, of course, is also in an unusual position, but if you just look at this guy as a right back, I think he's all right. He's not a brilliant one, but he could do a lot worse. So, yeah, again, especially for the Spanish League Challenge, you need a right back option. This guy gets form. I think he's perfectly usable, this card. It's probably one of the more worth keeping out of all these cards that we're going to look at in these 2 packs. Next is Pau Víctor, normally a forward. He is now an orchestrator, and they've given him centre midfield. So you can position train these cards, some of them at least. The goalies I don't think you can, but this guy you could, if you wanted to, position training to play defensive mid, attacking mid, left mid, or right mid. So that's something to consider. Let's just have a look at what kind of attributes we've got on this guy though. So, we have a very mixed bag. His passing is fantastic. Let's go straight down to his skills. Has he got the passing skills to back up those attributes? Yes. 1-touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, outside curl as well, no-look pass, lofted pass. So he's going to be all about the passing. Interesting. Long-range curler and first-time shot as well going forward, but nothing defensively, except you could argue track back, but there's no interception, man marking blocker, none of that. And his defensive attributes absolutely stink. And that's with an increase of 8 on his defending from level 1. So those points for me are wasted. This guy is not going to be good at defending no matter what you do. You'd have to put all of his points on defending. I mean, I'm just going to do that just to illustrate that even if you put every single point on defending, he's still not great defending. You can't even get his tackling to 80 with every single point on defending. So forget about that. Auto allocation, yeah. So he's going to be an attack-minded midfielder, whatever you do. So he's one of these midfielders where you're going to need 1 or 2 midfielders behind him doing the defensive work. Could you kind of round him out a bit? I mean, if you're going to be an attack-minded midfielder, you need more attacking awareness, and he's certainly needing to be better on the ball. Ball control 77, tight possession is not great either. So passing is the one place we can afford to take points away because he's right up in the 90s, and thankfully they've put quite a few points on there. So if we take a bunch off there, we'll leave him at. We'll leave the low pass at 90. We'll go just below on lofted. We'll leave 1 on finishing because that gets him to the 70 mark. Dribbling, that's the first concern. And then more dexterity. We've not even taken those defending points away yet. Good. So go to 8 on dexterity, shall we? Being at 86 on dribbling, I know 1 extra is going to make it 88, and we desperately need more ball control. So I'm going to go up to 13. I know it's 4 points to go from 12 to 13, but I'm going to do it on dribbling. I think it's worth it to go +2 on dribbling. 4 left. You could actually spare 1 on lower body there. Keep the kicking power at 90, which is great actually. Got good kicking power. Stamina's great as well. 7 points left. I'm going to go 1 higher on passing. Just get his lofted back up to 90. Then there's 5. In fact, you know what you could do? Could you go up to 90 for dribbling? No, you couldn't. I'll just do that, I think. Yeah, I think I'll do something like that on this guy. So as an attack-minded centre mid, you've got to keep in mind with the orchestrated playing style, he's not going to make a lot of attacking runs. So when I say attack-minded, there is a limit to that. He's limited by that playing style. I'm not sure how effective this guy is going to be, how useful he's going to be, but giving him a bit more attacking awareness, giving him a bunch more points on his dribbling, which I think is very important. I don't just mean dribbling with the dribbling attribute, I mean the dribbling group of points, because ball control desperately needed it, and it still does at 82. 82 is not enough really on a playmaking midfielder, and tight possession is not brilliant either. But we're still 90 plus and no lofted pass. Finishing, he does have a couple of shooting skills there. First time shot, long range curler, but be careful not to ask too much with the shooting. Decent pace for a centre mid, good kicking power. Would like a bit more physical strength and balance, to be fair. Got good stamina though, so it's another card where I've said it with 1 or 2 cards already from these 2 packs. He's got some qualities for sure. It's just a question of how big of an issue the weaknesses are. For me, I think if he had the box-to-box playing style, a whole player, if he's going to be making more attacking runs, he could be a decent one, to be fair, but with the orchestrated playing style, the attacking awareness not being higher, not having better ball control and tight possession, I just don't know how good he'd be, to be honest. And I mentioned position training. Certainly, you can't make him any good defensively, so I would not make him a defensive mid. I'll be more inclined to position train him if I was going to position train him as maybe as a left midfielder or an attacking midfielder where I'd be playing without an active playing style. So that orchestrated playing style would not hold him back so much. He would make more attacking runs. As an attacking mid, I would train him pretty much as I've done here. I still think the ball control is too low and the attacking awareness is too low though. So I'm not sure it'd be worth it. As a left midfielder, he's not too slow. He's got a little bit of pace about him. He's got some dribbling. You don't need the passing so much if he's playing left midfield. You could take all those points of passing, to be fair. Maybe just put them all straight on dexterity. One more on shooting. Would it be usable as a left midfielder? Maybe if you're desperate, but again, is it worth using the position trainers? You might get it in 2 position trainers. It might take you 200. It's not worth it, let's be honest. But just looking at him and seeing what all the different things you could possibly do with him, I think left midfield, certainly if you did give him left midfielder position, he could be usable there. But again, I still don't think he'd be brilliant. So he's got some qualities, certainly with the auto allocation. His passing is absolutely fantastic, but he's not brilliant on the ball. He's got poor attacking awareness. He's just going to kind of stand around in the middle of the park and play some really nice passes. So is that useful for a midfielder? Yeah, but the weaknesses for me just kind of offset too much against the strengths. So plenty of strength there with the passing. Really nice passing, to be fair. But with all the weaknesses he's also got and the fact that to get any use out of him in any other position, I don't think it really would be worth using the position trainers for how good you can make him elsewhere. This, for me, not a terrible card, but too many weaknesses, and it's ultimately not one I think that many people are going to get any value out of, really. And the last card to look at, we've got Ansu Fati, the centre-forward goal poacher. So, have we saved the best for last? Maxed out, fully boosted? Yes, we have. So there's 1 or 2 cards across these 2 packs that could be usable. They've all got 1 or 2 weaknesses, but 1 or 2 you might be able to get some use out of if you're really desperate for someone in their position. But this card, to me, is actually a reasonable card. It's pretty decent looking. So as you can see with auto allocation, it's telling you 97 as a centre forward, and you can see why, because he's a goal poacher. He's got decent pace, and the awareness and finishing both 92. Decent enough on the ball for a striker. Passing is okay for a striker. This is a decent card, to be fair. Looking at the skills we've got in this version of Fati. So a couple of skill moves there, but then the important ones for a striker, we've got first time shot down there, got heading and acrobatic finishing, long range curler, heel chick's a nice one, through passing, outside curl as well is always a nice one to have. This is a tidy looking centre forward, you know, and you could actually scrimp a bit from the finishing and the awareness if you wanted to. Leave him at the 90 mark for finishing and awareness. And you can get his dribbling all the way up to 88. It's 2 points still there. In fact, you can take 4 off area. I don't think the area is really important. Not on this type of striker anyway. And he can get his kicking power up to 80. Speed into the 90s. So speed and acceleration both 90 plus. Kicking power is not brilliant, but at least at the 80 mark. Balance, again, would like it to be a bit higher. And the stamina's not great, but maybe you could use him as a super sub. But then down the left, still at 90 for awareness and finishing. On the ball for a centre forward, really nice now. 88 dribbling on a centre forward is very nice. This for me is a very usable centre forward. He's got a good selection of skills. He's going to be capable of taking chances for you. He's got the pace to match up with the goal poacher playing style. I always say on a poacher, having pace on a goal poacher along with good awareness is absolutely crucial. And he's got the finishing as well. So he's going to be able to get him behind the defence, hold off the defenders with his pace, and he's got the finishing. And when he gets on the ball, if he's not going to be able to get the shot away, you can turn away from the defender and you're going to be comfortable enough on the ball with the attributes this guy's got. He's better on the ball than probably most centre forwards, apart from obviously the real kind of beefy legend ones and so on. But generally speaking, good on the ball for a striker, awareness, finishing, pace. This for me is clearly the best card out of all the 8 that we're getting for free across these 2 packs. Sure, there are 1 or 2 that are fun ones that you might be able to get some joy out of, depending on what qualities they've got, but most of them have 1 or 2 weaknesses. But yeah, honestly, this card for me, Ansu Fati, you can position train versions of Fati that you've got for sure, but this is a good goal poacher version of Ansu Fati, and this card I think is well worth having and keeping, especially for that Spanish League challenge. You could certainly do a very good job for as a centre forward. So yeah, some fun cards in this pack, but whereas most of them are just a bit of fun, this one for me, you can actually take it seriously. It's a good centre forward card, this. And before I forget, position training. Some of these cards you can position train. This is one that could actually be position trained for left wing, which is his normal position, and you can make him pretty decent there. So if you take all the points away from finishing, get his dribbling up to 90, got 2 left, stick on lower body. As you can see there, fantastic attacking awareness for a left winger, higher than it normally is for Fati. 82 finishing, that's around about the mark he normally gets. Obviously be careful with his passing, it's not great, but on the ball, about as good as he normally is. Pace, yeah, not massively different to what Fati normally is as a left winger, to be honest. So you would need the position trainers to do it, and he wouldn't be a lot better than he normally is, but that attacking awareness certainly is better than he normally has. So yeah, and you could tweak that around. You could take a couple away from dexterity, to be honest, maybe give him a bit more passing, something like that. But yeah, if you wanted to use the position trainers, if you wanted a good version of Fati and you don't have one already, albeit we've had a free one, which you probably got if you like the guy, left wing is also an option, but certainly as a striker, good card that. So there you go, a couple of packs, 8 players in total. And as I've mentioned, while I've been looking at these cards, most of them I think they're just a bit of fun in terms of being able to really get any value or real use out of them. There's not a lot to be said for most of them, but Pulišić, if you use him in his regular position of left wing, might not be the best version of him we've had, but it's certainly very usable as a left winger. I think Abraham, if you're really desperate, could do a job for you as a centre back. I think Fofana as a centre forward, certainly with the awareness and finishing, could do a job as well. Fox in the box centre forward. The rest of his attributes are very meh, but with the awareness and finishing getting to around 90, depending how you train him, he could do a job for you. I think Casadó as a right back is very usable. He's got really good selection skills. In terms of the attributes, there aren't any major weaknesses there. Obviously 1 or 2 attributes you'd like to be a bit higher, but I think he could certainly do a job as a right back. And another goalie there, García, but as much as both the goalies are useless as goalies, García, like Pulišić, can play his normal position, that's centre back, and he could do a job there, just physically very weak. And then got your midfield Pau Víctor there. Yeah, great passing, but can't really say much more for him. Who have I not mentioned? Tomori left wing, absolutely not. That's probably the biggest dud out of all these cards for me. But then the last one we just looked at, Ansu Fati. That's not a joke of a card for me. I think that's a really nice looking centre forward card. So yeah, they're all free. We don't need to worry about whether we're spending coins on them. So we've got a bunch of freebies there from Konami. No doubt most people are going to be releasing most of these cards, but there are 1 or 2 that I think are well worth trying out. Might be worth keeping, especially Ansu Fati, good centre forward card. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully you found that useful. Thank you for watching. As always, let me know what you think of these cards, if there are any cards out of all these that you think you're going to keep hold of. As I mentioned at the start, I'll be doing a separate video to review the new Barcelona pack. I'll review the Hector Fort card that's in the point store in that same video, and also the Jordi Alba and Busquets cards that we've been given for free, the ex-Barca ones. So I'll be reviewing all those players in a separate video, so keep your eyes out for that. I'll be hopefully doing a video at some point chatting about the forthcoming update as well, about our hopes and expectations for that. And I might even do a stream at some point, so keep your eyes on the Discord and the community tab. Thank you for watching again, as always. Really appreciate it. I hope you found this useful. I'll catch you soon. Take it easy.